Christ. My phone is crazy. Hmm. Is that any better? Okay, trying again. Inspiration for this film. Uh, Literally, it was the the item that was given to us by Robert. God damn it! This damn thing. So nothing. You can't hear me at all. All right, there we go. Um, I don't know what's going on with this Skype. Sorry. Robert gave us the item for this barbecue tongs, and so we just started to come up with ideas. It would be really cool to get a kill with the barbecue tongs in the neck, and so we sort of built it around that. Well, they were camping, of course, and so we just sort of built it all around there. And then as we were sort of building ideas upon ideas, we came up with this friend of ours had this RV that his dad's selling that was just sitting in his driveway. And it's like, can we use it? And he's like, sure. So we came up with the idea that this guy sells this RV to people and then hides in it. And then when he gets a chance, he comes out and he will kill everybody. And yeah, we just sort of built on it from there. It's very weird. My good buddy Doiner on Facebook asked me what genre I like to work in other than horror and sci-fi. Uh, I was always a big fan of like the Kevin Smith comedy stuff, and that's what I actually sort of wanted to do when I was deciding to get into filmmaking. But um, I don't know. I suddenly fell in love with the horror movie and just decided to go with it. But I still have some ideas I think would be good for sort of like an indie comedy that I would still like to do. So I don't know. Maybe there'll be a comedy in my future. Let me see. Was this the first 48-hour film challenge you have participated in? This is, and of course, I sort of came up with the idea, which was ridiculous. I was supposed to film a short film over the weekend, and a lot of stuff sort of fell apart, and I just wasn't able to do it. And scheduling conflicts and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, I still want to do something. So let's come up with like an idea of filming a short film in 48 hours. And then a bunch of other filmmakers said on Facebook, like, yeah, we should do that too. So then we sort of just came up with the idea of, hey, let's do this 48-hour thing. And anybody who wants to participate is more than welcome to. All the people that said they were going to do it ended up not doing it, of course. And having notice from Monday onward was probably not the way to go. But just sort of last minute. But got a hold of Robert, and he was all about having these films on his channel and stuff. So thanks to Robert and Indie Horror TV, definitely. But I think might try to uh, might try to set another one up, but give a lot more notice, so that way um, we can sort of not have it be so quick, and maybe filmmakers can actually prepare for it rather than just, hey, let's do it this weekend. Everybody like, oh crap. So yeah, first one uh, may not be the last, but we'll see. Um, good friend Bootsy Cox says, "Will you build upon the theme more?" Um, well, yes. Me and my co-director, I co-directed this with Tony Wash, who has been on here before and is a super awesome guy. And he actually came on the set and just sort of like did his thing, and it was easy for me to just sort of step back and let him do a lot of that. And I still did some directorial duties, but A lot of credit goes to Tony for this film. He's already uh, talking about doing some sequels. So he absolutely loved this, and he loved the story, loved the way the film came out. So you're probably going to be seeing a sequel to this in the near future. Who knows what it's going to entail? I'm sort of in charge of coming up with some ideas, and I've only had a day to do so. But yeah, we're definitely going to be doing some more of these, and I think it's going to become just a fun sort of like online low budget slasher series that we're going to end up doing. So yeah. Um, what are your plans for the next short film? Well, I'm doing a short film in July. Uh, I'm co-host on a podcast called Drunken Zombie, and we came up with this idea of doing sort of an um, anthology horror series, very Tales from the Crypt sort of thing, because we love those, and just put them up online for free. And I'm going to be directing an episode or two of those. And then after that, I'm actually taking a filmmaking break, which is funny that I say this because this is the first thing I made in about a year, to really sit down and write out my feature length film and to work on some fiction short stories because I'm also a short story writer and to get some more of those together so I can get my collection out and stuff. Um, let's see, how did you get started in filmmaking? Was there any formal training, or did you pick it up and go? Uh, well, how did I get started? When I was in high school, I decided I wanted to be a film director. I didn't do anything for like 10 years after that to really sort of get the ball rolling. Um, Formal training, in as much as I went to my local community college and took some TV and radio classes, and I work in television now, but not in the exciting part. In the very boring, I sit behind a computer and do nothing, mainly dick around on Facebook all day. If anybody from work is watching this, ignore that. But film is still where sort of my heart's at, and I would love to do it full time. I've always said if I could make the same amount of money I'm making right now on my day job filmmaking, I would totally do that full time and just get rid of the day job just to focus on it. So, um, anything else? Anything else in the chat room? Anybody got any off the wall questions? I'm willing to answer just about anything. Now's your time. Um, have plans on using the same killer in BBQ Massacre? Of course, that would be Gary who's asking that question. He's wondering if he's going to have a job in the next film. We're definitely going to have the killer return in it. Whether he makes it to part 3, we don't know yet. You'll have to find out when we shoot it, Gary. But yeah, we're gonna be doing um, another part with the same killer. So you'll have a job on the next one, Gary. So no worries. Uh, what was the worst thing that happened to you while filming? Um, just BBQ Massacre in general. If you're asking about anything I've done, then yeah, let me know in the chat room. On this, I wouldn't say there was anything bad that really happened. I think the lack of time and the fact that we were up till like I didn't go to bed till 7 o'clock the next morning when we filmed this. So like a lot of our actors were there till 2, 3 in the morning. We let them go home and finished up with Gary and Steve, who were the last 2 actors we needed. And man, they were troopers. I cannot believe they stayed up that late and helped us with my idiotic idea of, hey, let's make a short film in a day. So um, so I wouldn't say anything really bad happened. Uh, if anything, it was just consolidating some scenes just because we were running out of time, and it was like we got to get some of these actors out of here because I know we told them they were going to be here this late. So that was about it. This was a pretty easy shoot. So far so good. Cross our fingers. Nothing horrible happens to us in the next things we film. Any hints on what your feature-length film is going to be about? Oh my gosh. I haven't talked to a whole lot of people about it, but it is going to be messed up. Um, BBQ Massacre is probably my most straightforward horror film that I've made. Uh, as in, it's very much just a slasher film. My feature film, which I'm calling Midnight at the moment, is going to be one of the most messed up things anybody's probably seen. That they're not going to be able to be like, I've seen something like that before. I always say it's David Lynch mixed with David Cronenberg, add a touch of Night of the Creeps and a pinch of um, Jacob's Ladder, and put it in a blender together. And trust me, it's really messed up. It's sort of the little bit I will say about it, it's about a guy who sort of gets thrown into this weird urban underbelly that he was not expecting, and seeing just all this crazy stuff that happens sort of underneath the cover of this city that a lot of people don't know about unless you're really into this world. And there's some other supernatural elements that are going to be in it, and I think it's a great start working on it. I do have a big name actor I have in mind that I want to get on board, whether he's going to say yes or not, we'll have to see. Muted again. There we go. We back again. Hello. Okay. Um, man, Skype on your cell phone, not a good thing. Um, let's see. Feature length film, just covered that. Did you have any potential or real safety issues while filming? Sort of did. We had come up with the kills for the movie, and muted again. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. All right. Looks like we're back again. But we were coming up with the deaths, and we came up with a girl. Oh, damn it! Did I lose audio again? Yeah. I'm gonna keep talking. Hopefully, don't use Skype on your cell phone. We were coming up with the deaths, and the part where the girl gets the tongs, kind of prop it up in some way. No, I don't think so. Unfortunately, this is about as good as it's going to get. I could prop it here. I wonder if that'll help. All right. So the only safety issue we had is when the part where the girl gets the tongs in the throat. Um, we had this idea of a really stylistic way we could shoot it, but we're like, but if we do it, then the guy, whoever is stabbing him, is going to have to stab and then drop the pear, and then she would fall back, and you would see a pear like in her eyes or whatever. And so we tested it out, and we went to drop, and we had Darren, who played Darren in the movie. We're testing it out on him, and we dropped him, and they went point down right into his stomach, and he's like, holy crap, that hurt. So I'm like, yeah, we won't be filming it that way. So we did the POV shot of them coming down instead, and we stabbed a watermelon actually. So yeah, so that was about the only safety issues. We were really worried about somebody getting really stabbed with those tongs. So thanks, Robert, for coming up with that. And yeah, so that was the only real safety concern. Everything else went smoothly. We didn't have any issues. Do you think the next slasher film will be longer? I do. This one, there was a 10-minute time limit. I mean, I don't think it's going to be, a 20-hour epic or anything. Um, it might be a little bit longer. It all services the story. Whatever the story is going to be, that's sort of going to be, um, what we go with, of course. Um, let's see. Um, Sorry, I had somebody ask me a question on Twitter, but he asked it wrong. So let me reply real quick. and fix it for him. Um, so yeah, the next one will probably be a little bit longer, but I can't believe it would be um, it's not gonna be super long. It'll be what it is. Do you think slasher film can get sort of mainstream again, like Friday the 13th or Halloween or Elm Street? I don't know. I personally love slasher films. I'm a huge Nightmare on Elm Street. I was planning on shooting this in my office with my computer, where you would see my multitude of Nightmare on Elm Street posters behind me. But of course, it my computer's all jacked up on the day I need it, of course, and this Skype over the phone thing's not working out very well. But I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I would love for slasher films to come in vogue again. I think the era of Scream was probably the last time we're going to see something like that happen. Maybe in the near future we'll see something like that again, but I don't think it's going to be as popular as they were, specifically in the 80s, which was the heyday. But you never know. You can always hope. People need to go out and make really good slasher films and get people to enjoy them again. People sort of, especially indie filmmakers, sort of cry that, or not cry, but cry out that the theater system or the studio system is really sort of bullshit or whatever. But I mean, that's what sort of keeps us going. I mean, I go see studio films all the time, so I can't say oh they're bullshit. Maybe I don't enjoy them as much as I used to, but I mean they definitely help fuel the indie system. So I think one without the other really can't exist. So I would hope the slashers come back. So we'll see. What about using an instant read thermometer? That is a great idea. I wish that we had time to do that, and maybe we'll use that in the sequel. So I thank you, Bootsy Cox, because I think an instant read thermometer is hilarious and awesome. Tell us a bit about your podcast, Drunken Zombie, and it came from the underground. When do you record them, and who are some of your guests you've had? Ah, I am a co-host on Drunken Zombie, which is a horror media podcast where we just bullshit about horror stuff all the time. And that show is sort of designed to be um, like a bullshit session with your friends. You come in mid-conversation on something, and I mean it's sort of structured, but I mean we're just drinking some beers and just bullshit about whatever. And people seem to really enjoy it. I have no idea why. I think it's a horrible show, but people seem to really like it. Um, but I mean, we're coming up on our sixth year of doing it, so we've been around for a while. It's a lot of fun just to kind of get together, talk about movies, talk about horror stuff in general. It's good stuff. And our other podcast that came from the underground is specifically I myself, Tony Wash, who co-directed this with BBQ Massacre with me, and who is has been on here for one of these director chats. Go back and look at the YouTube clip; it's awesome. And my friend Al Goro, it came from the underground, is specifically independent horror films and independent horror films, and we bring on filmmakers and actors and actresses and just really sort of get into um, we just really get into sort of the independent horror filmmaking world and really dive into it. And basically what we're doing here in the chat room, where we ask them questions like, "How did you get into filmmaking?" and all this stuff. "How did you get into horror?" And we've had some awesome people. Dustin Mills, who's been on here before, had him on the show. Scott Shermer and their cast and crew. Uh, they've been on their movie Found. If you have not seen Found, look it up. I tell him it's a compliment that I give his film. Every time I tell somebody about it, I say it's got the most fucked up last shot of a movie I've ever seen in my entire life, and he thanks me for it every time I say it. But the movie's awesome. Found. Definitely go check it out. They've been on. Heather Dorf is going to be coming on an episode soon. She's been in a lot of indie horror films with Travis Legg, and she does that Filming Around Midtown YouTube show. and she was her short film, What They Say, has been getting awards and stuff all over. So she's going to be a guest on here soon, or on our show. It Came from the Underground. All that stuff, if you want to check out, because we actually run a whole network of podcasts. You can find all that stuff out at drunkenzombie.com. A little bit of everything. We have a comic book podcast, horror podcast, independent horror podcast. We have a horror host who does horror hosting stuff for old timey radio shows, which is fucking awesome. So everybody should go over to drunkenzombie.com and check it out. Um, let's see. And when will I be a guest? Haha, just kidding. Send me an email. You can be a guest. If you got films, we'll review them. We'll talk to you about them. We'd love to have you on. Favorite movie of all time? It's going to surprise everybody in here, but it's not even a horror film. American Beauty, I think, is my favorite film of all time. It's just so beautifully shot, awesomely written. If you want to get into what's my favorite horror film, Nightmare on Elm Street, without a doubt. I saw the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 when I was 8 years old. Scared the living shit out of me. I could not sleep for a week. I was like, horror movies are bullshit. I don't know why people watch them. And of course, Freddy became my favorite slasher forever after that. So, um, yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. I just love the first movie. I'm obsessed with this weird thing. I don't know if anybody else has seen some of the deleted scenes, but I'm obsessed with this one deleted scene and why it's not in the movie. If you look through the deleted scenes, there is a uh, a deleted scene where we find out Nancy um, Nancy actually had an older brother who Freddie had killed, and that all of the kids in the neighborhood had a older siblings that Freddie had killed, and they basically, that's why the parents got revenge on him and killed him. And for me, it opened up so many layers of Nightmare on Elm Street because it's like, well, yeah, this explains why her mom and dad got a divorce. I mean, he was a cop and he couldn't stop Freddie before they killed their son. I mean, that just like explains her alcoholism, explains why they're divorced. Opened up, makes it way more personal between Nancy and Freddie, which it always seemed like it was anyway, and there was no real context as to why, other than he's just killing her friends. But I mean, killing her older brother that she never knew. Like, there's like all these layers, and I'm like, why is this scene not in the movie? And I'm just obsessed with it. So, yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, without a doubt. Um, Favorite comedy? Oh my god, that I don't know. Um, Blues Brothers, maybe. That's just off the top of my head. I'm sure tomorrow will change and it'll be something. Um, it'll be something completely different. But I love Blues Brothers. I think it's hilarious. And there's a movie called 3 O'clock High that I absolutely love, and a lot of it is nostalgia because it's one that me and my dad watched on like a Sunday afternoon movie show on Fox or whatever. And yeah, 3 O'clock High I think's awesome. It's got the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop in it. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, and John Cusack and Better Off Dead. I thought that was fantastic too. Um, let's see. Freddy as a character had the charisma as a killer, but also being funny, which is true. Is that on the newest Blu-ray releases of Nightmare on Elm Street? I believe it is. Um, but I mean, if not, I think it's online on YouTube somewhere. Maybe I can find it and send it to you. I don't know. We'll see. Any more questions? We got anything else in the chat room? These are all good questions, people. Let's keep it going. Anything else? Out of all the films you made, which was the hardest to make? Um, Shooting wise, I would say Whisper, because the dorm room that we filmed in is actually my bedroom. I have a pretty decently sized apartment, which is really weird for Peoria. Um, and my bedroom has like a giant closet, which is what we needed. And for some reason, my girlfriend, we were trying to figure out a place to make it. My girlfriend was like, "Why don't you just film it here?" And I'm like, "I thought about that, but I thought that might be really annoying to sort of disturb where we live to film this stupid movie." And so we ended up doing it. And I had to clear everything out of my bedroom, set dress it as a dorm room, and then basically I slept in my living room for 3 days and it's just it was ridiculous. And she's like, I will never allow you to do that again. And I was like, fair enough, because I don't ever want to do that again. Um, so it was just the difficulty of like having to rearrange your life in your apartment because you're filming a movie in your bedroom, but it can't look like your bedroom. It has to look like a dorm room. Horrible idea. Never do it again. Um, what is the idea that you want to put on film next? It's probably gonna be my feature, the one I talked a little bit about earlier. It actually came from a dream of mine. I actually dreamt the whole thing, and it was really messed up, and it was just crazy. And as soon as I woke up, I sat up in my bed and I made sure to like drill it into my brain that I remembered it, because I'm like, this would make a fantastic movie, and it's so messed up. That's why I said it's very David Lynch mixed with David Cronenberg, because it it's very, it came from a dream, so it's very dreamlike, and it's just messed up like you would not believe. So that's what I really want to do next. Like I said, I'm doing these 2 episodes of this anthology web series that I'm sort of came up with the idea of doing that too. I come up with ideas and then feel awful afterwards because I have to actually do them. So I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, but you know. But yeah, my feature I think is going to be the next thing I really, really, really want to get on film, or hard drive as it would be now. If you could remake any one film, what would it be? Hmm. What would it be? I think I would do a remake of. Oh man, that's a good question. I know there's been movies that I've thought of that like I would do a remake of that. Um, Crap. There was one specifically, and I had a really great idea for how to do it, and I don't remember what it was. Um, how about I'll compromise. I'm not 100% sure if there's like one specific movie I'd be remade, because a lot of them have been remade already. Um, but we'll say it's a sequel to the remake of Friday the 13th. I've always wanted to do a Friday the 13th movie and you set it at wintertime. To me, it baffles me that nobody has thought of doing a Friday the 13th movie in the wintertime at Camp Crystal Lake. There's so much you could do with the wintertime setting. Um, I mean, people ice skating. Jason comes up through the ice and grabs them. The white, so I mean, the blood would really pop, like if it when it hits the snow and everything. And I'm just floored that nobody has done that yet. And I would love to pitch that as a, let's do Friday 13th during the wintertime. Maybe around there uh, they do it like open up a ski lodge or something on around the lake or something. I don't know, whatever. But I mean, I think it would be fantastic to do Friday 13th in the wintertime. So I guess that's my cheat. I guess I would do that as a sequel to the Friday 13th remake, set it in the wintertime. Do you have any problems finding locations? On occasion, we're for this 48-hour film thing. We actually had a whole story set up, 2 characters in it. I guess technically 3 characters in it, and we had this all set up, and like in our mind, we're like, oh, we could shoot it this way, do it this way. It would be fantastic. Like it would be just a nice creepy film, and then we could not get a house to shoot it in. That's when we talked to then my friend Darren. I talked to him, and he's like, "Well, let's use my camper for something," and that's where BBQ Massacre came out of. But so we still have this other short film that we really want to do. That we just need to find a house to shoot it in. And I mean, we came up with it on Thursday, and we needed a house on Saturday. So I mean, that was part of the problem. Um, Other than that, I mean, I've been pretty lucky. Myctophobia, a friend of mine's a realtor, and her aunt was selling her house. Um, and it's just like, hey, we need a house to film in. My aunt's selling this house. She could probably let you use it. So Myctophobia, like we filmed the entire thing in this empty house. We didn't have to put anybody out or anything. Like it was fantastic. So I've been lucky. I've had a few snags as far as locations go, but everything seems to work out pretty easily for me for some reason. I wish. I wish. I could get a lot more money doing this and actually shooting some awesome locations. But hey, you take what you can get. Have you ever had the police show up while filming, and or how hard is it to get a filming permit, and how specific are they usually? Permits, no idea. Never filmed with one. Peoria is a a decently sized town, but I mean, there's no film production. There's no like um, I, from what I understand, it's only in like Chicago and stuff in Illinois that you really have to really be on the ball with getting permits and stuff. Around here, you're shooting as long as you're not disturbing anybody. Usually, it's not a problem. Um, I'm sure if we were pulling out a fake gun and shooting people on the street downtown, the police would probably show up and wonder like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" But yeah, we haven't had too many problems. I haven't even looked into getting permits because I haven't really needed them. So yeah, don't know. Couldn't tell you. Sucks if you need permits, and if I ever get to that point, I'm sure it's gonna suck, and I'll just have my producer deal with it. Um, let's see. We talked about doing a wintertime Candyman, and I was all in for that, and then it got ditched for the remake with a white Candyman, dumb, and now nada. A white Candyman, yeah, that sounds like the worst idea I've ever heard in my entire life. Um, Hispanic Freddy Krueger would be on par with that. Yeah, probably. Um, yeah. So, anything else? Anything else? Chat room? Anything crazy you can come up with? I'll try to answer it. My remake answer wasn't very good, but I'll try to answer anything you got. If you had to give one piece of advice to aspiring filmmakers, what would it be? Uh, just do it. Essentially, everything is so cheap nowadays that you should be able to get equipment and stuff. And as long as you feed people, actors will usually show up. So, I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to actually just do it. Um, really, my piece of advice, I guess, pre-production too. Pre-production is important. I try to have everything as planned out as I could be. I'm even a thing I like to do is um, instead of doing storyboards where you draw everything out, I actually, if I have access, I go to my location with a couple people, and I will have them sit down, and I'll take a still camera, and I'll actually take pictures of the shots that I want to get. So it'd be like, well, if I'm going to get a close up, so I'll get a close up, I'll get a medium shot, and just use a still camera. Take pictures, and that way you have a very detailed sort of storyboard of what you're going to go with, and you can put them in order. I use screenwriting software called Celtics, and it's got a storyboard section in it. You can just upload those pictures into it and dump them in. And I mean, for me, that's like super easy. You take half an hour, go to your set, take your still camera with you. You can probably knock out all the shots you want to get, and so that way you at least have a visual representation. And I then take that with me on set, and while we're shooting, once we get those shots I want, I take a Sharpie and I cross them off. And so that's a very visual way to make sure that I have all the shots that I want to, that I don't leave there without getting anything I wouldn't want. Couple questions on Twitter from my good friend Paul. Have you ever used crowdfunding? How was the experience? Will crowdfunding play a major role in the future of horror films? I have used crowdfunding. Myctophobia, we used crowdfunding on a little bit. I mean, I didn't, I only got like 1,500 off of it, which was fine. That's all I needed to make that movie, and that paid for actors coming in from out of town. It paid for food. It paid for hotels for people, and I mean, that's all I really wanted to cover. I wasn't looking to, make a mint off this thing or anything. But I think it's crowdfunding is good for stuff like that. I had a great experience with it. As far as if it's going to play a role in future horror films, I think horror films is perfect for it. Horror films are usually very cheap to film, and then very they end up making a lot of money back if they get in a good spot for a lot of people to see it. So I think crowdfunding is perfect for something like that. A lot of people question sort of, um, well, it seems like people are just giving you money, you're panhandling. And I don't think that's it at all. I mean, for me, I basically pre-sold DVDs for Myctophobia, and basically had they were pre-ordering as far as I was concerned, and they gave us the money up front to make everything, and then I just sent them the DVD when we were done. So I think it's good as long as you got some good rewards like that, some good perks. The Zach Braff thing I think is a little sketchy that just came up recently. I never really had a huge problem with Zach Braff, but I find this thing kind of disturbing where he crowdfunds it and then also signs with a major company to give him a lot of money to make it. So I don't know. I see it good and bad. So you just have to, just be careful. Just look into stuff you're investing in and make sure that you're comfortable with investing however much you invest, that you're okay if you lose it. Obviously, don't put thousands of dollars into something and then be upset when it falls away. The most I ever uh, donate to those things is like $25. If it doesn't get made, I can live with that. If it does get made, awesome. I just bought a DVD. Let's see. Also from my friend Paul, what horror trope, monster subgenre that is underutilized would you love to see come back? Um, oh my God. What I would love to see stuff like Critters and Gremlins come back. I think, and I heard the Gremlins is being remade, which I think is bunk, but um, I would love to see stuff like that, like little monster stuff again. I love Critters and I loved Gremlins. I love stuff like that. The old Roger Corman movie Munchies. I loved Munchies. So I just wish stuff like that would come back and just make it fun again. I was a huge fan of the Puppet Master movies up till after part five, and then they got kind of dumb. But I loved those. So I mean, little monsters like I would love to see come back again, like Critters and Gremlins. I think that'd be fantastic. Um, let's see. Oop, oop. I think I missed a couple questions. Let me back up here. Um, Cameras are 6D and 5D. Do you own or did you rent or borrow? I got some friends who have cameras. Like I said, Tony Wash came down and he brought down with him the 6D and the 5D. He owned those. So I don't own any cameras, but I have a lot of filmmaking friends who have equipment that are very, very generous and let me borrow when need be. And always appreciative. Always try to do something back to pay them back for it. Um, but yeah, 6D, 5D. Uh, if you get your hands on those are awesome cameras. I definitely recommend it, and they're pretty cheap. So I mean, if you want to go buy one, and you're not going to break the bank on it. How fun was it to work with Steve Christopher during the filming of BBQ Massacre? It was awesome. I'm going to be putting a blooper reel together for BBQ Massacre in the coming weeks, and Steve was hilarious. One of his lines kind of gets overshadowed by the guy coming out of the bed, but Steve did numerous line readings for his line when his wife, girlfriend, whatever, says, well, he wasn't thinking dirty thoughts about you. And Steve gave a different response each time. Our favorite one was, you don't know, there could be a stiff sock with my name on it right now. So he gave a different line reading for each one, and it was hilarious. I'm going to be putting that together. Speaking of actors, do you generally pay them money wise or having a really good spread of food, etc.? Depends. On Myctophobia, I paid all my actors monetarily. Kitsy, who is from out of town, is a good like 6 hours away. I paid her a pretty decent amount to come out. I mean, I say decent amount, but I mean it. Barely even covered her expenditures coming out. But I paid all my actors on that, and then I also, on top of that, made sure they got fed really well. Some of the stuff I just do with local actors, I tell them up front, hey, this is just going up on YouTube for fun. I'm not going to make any money off of it, so I'm not paying anybody, but I will promise you that you will have a really good meal or something while you're on set, and that seems to be good enough for a lot of actors. They're just interested in being in stuff, and I know a lot of the actors that were in this, a lot of them were just like, tell me when this is up on YouTube because they want to show people. They just want to show people like, hey, look, I was in this thing that you can watch on YouTube, and it's usually enough for people as long as you feed them. So if you're trying to save money, put a lot of money into your food because you'll definitely keep actors that way. Um, and lots of talk about Zach Braff. Food is usually the cheapest and easiest way to keep people happy. Do you burn DVDs or have them made professionally? Well, the DVDs I was working with, Myctophobia, is actually part of a collection called The Collective. Um, and it was like 10 short films, 10 filmmakers that gave us all emotions. I got Fear, of course, so I made Myctophobia called Fear of the Dark. So they were responsible for the DVDs being printed. Um, but there's a website called Kunaki, which is Kunki, I believe. And they do print on demand DVDs, and I mean they can go as cheap for $1 a piece, and it's fully like printed DVD. I mean they're like burnable DVDs, but like you get the DVD case, the slip cover, printing on the DVD, and an insert, all for like $1 a piece, which isn't too bad. So if you're looking for a really cheap way to burn DVDs, I would specifically recommend doing them. Um, let's see, Gremlins remake. No Gremlins remake unless one of the friends of the channel does it. Yeah, I agree with that. Do you edit? I don't remember from the credits. I do. I can edit. I'm not like super great. I can get stuff put together well enough for people to understand what's going on. Um, but luckily, a couple guys I work with, Brandon Lampright and Darren Ford, and Darren was the one I worked with on here. They both love editing. Like that's what they want to do the most. So I just let them go for it. I direct it, I write it, I direct it. You know, they shoot it and then they edit it, and that's what the stuff they love doing. So makes it easy for me, so I don't have to, do it myself. They'll send me cuts and I'll give them notes and I'll be like, I like this, take this out, put this thing in, blah 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 blah, and I just sort of let them do their thing. I try not to get into it too much. If there's something I don't like, I will tell them, I don't like it like that. Let's try to do it this way. Um, but yeah, I don't do a whole lot of editing. If I have to, like I can put something together, but it's definitely not what I enjoy doing. For me, I love being on set. Like as soon as I step on set, I get this euphoric rush, and I just love like the writing and the directing part of it. Editing, not so much, but I'll give my notes and stuff. What is your directorial style? How do I direct? For the most part, I'm pretty hands off. Um, as far as a lot of things. If there's something specific I'm looking for, I'll talk to the actors about it. And like I'm really this is sort of what I think the character is going through, and like this is what I really want to project on screen. But I let them kind of come up with their character and stuff on their own. Um, Obviously, if there's certain beats, then I tell them we're going to do it this way, and this way. But I kind of let them do their thing. I mean, they're actors. That's what they're supposed to do. If they have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer and to give them, direction and stuff like that. But I kind of just like to let them sort of do their thing. And you know, one big rule I have in my sets, because I've worked on a couple independent movies before I really started making my own movies. And one big rule I have on my set is no yelling, because I've been on a couple sets where people just yelled at each other and just were like mean to each other for no reason, and it's just was a horrible experience. So I always tell anybody who I work with, I always tell them like, there's no yelling on my set, there's no negativity. We're making movies. It's supposed to be fun, so we need to be having fun. I don't understand the point of getting upset and just getting like crazy about it or whatever. Like nothing is so important in the world on a film set that you need to be yelling at anybody. So I always tell them, I always just have positivity on my set. We always have fun. Gary's in the chat room right now. He'll tell you we had a great time on our set, and I like to keep it light, keep it fun. Obviously, I mean, we're there to work. We got some stuff we want to accomplish, but let's have fun. Let's pull pranks on each other. Let's do a couple goofy lines or whatever just to make everybody laugh. Like that's fine. Um, but that's sort of I like to keep my directing loose. Like I try not to marry myself to anything. So I try to just to kind of go with it, and if something new comes up, anybody makes a recommendation for something, I'll definitely listen to it. Any problems with conveying ideas with actors? There hasn't been anything horrible. I think there's been a couple times where looking through the camera, I thought that I got what I wanted, and then when I got into editing, I was like, oh shit, like I should have had him do it this way instead. That would have been much better. Would have conveyed more emotion or whatever. So I don't think I've had a horrible time trying to convey stuff to people, but I feel like maybe I conveyed it in the wrong way and didn't realize it at the time. Um, you know, I'm like I said before, I'm kind of open with my directing. If there is if the actor wants to sit down and have like a chat, like this is like my idea for the character, and we can go back and forth. We can do the whole backstory thing. If they show up and they're like, no, I got something, then I just kind of let them go. So I mean, conveying ideas, I haven't had a huge problem with it, but you know, whatever. Good times. I hope that answered your question. Seemed like a very non-answer. So it looked like Robert was trying to get things a little wrapped up there in the chat room last couple minutes. Like I said before, stop by bryanwolford.net. That's BRYANWOLFORD.net. That's where my homepage, where I have all my films and everything. I haven't updated in a while, working on it. And stop by drunkenzombie.com. Check out our network of podcasts. We have a whole ton of them. And one thing I haven't mentioned on top of all this stuff, because apparently I don't have enough time in the day. Out of Drunken Zombie podcast, we were getting a lot of people sending us their films to review and stuff. And we started up our own film festival, and this will be the 6th year we've been doing it. And so we encourage any filmmakers to submit their films. We don't charge entry fees because we think that's bullshit. We get our theater super cheap, so we don't hose the filmmakers by charging them afterwards. So we hold a film festival every year, and it's not, despite the name Drunken Zombie, it's not just a zombie film festival. We take any sort of horror films. We've aired the Saska Sisters' Dead Hooker in a Trunk before. We've aired a movie called The Taint, which is awesome. A couple years ago, we aired one called True Nature, which was fantastic. And it's a whole weekend long. So if you're watching this, you're a filmmaker and you want to submit your film, drunkenzombiefilmfestival.com. All submission info is up there. And submit your films. All it costs you is postage and a DVD. So hit us up. We'd love to air your stuff. And I think I'm about good. If Robert's all good, I want to thank him for having me on. Thanks to Indie Horror TV for being a real place for independent horror filmmakers to go. And so Robert, whenever you're ready, I'll send it back on over to you.
Hello viewers of IndieHorror.tv. This is Rob Poole here, the founder of the channel, and I wanted to come out and talk to you personally because we just had an amazing director's chat with Bryan Wolford, who of course has the podcast It Came From the Underground.